Hello and welcome to ETAuto. I'm Kriti Sraya and today we are joined with Mr. Anmol Jain, MD of Lumax Auto Technologies. Thank you for being with us, sir.
Thank you, Kriti.
So, Lumax Group is working beyond lighting, which was its key focus, or it is still the key focus. What would you like to comment on that?
So I think lighting is a product which is synonymous with brand Lumax. At one point of time, it was the only product which we were into. Today, let's say lighting constitutes about close to 50 to 60% of the group revenues, and the group has successfully diversified into becoming a diversified tier one auto component maker. So there are a lot of other products which we are into today, but we continue to invest in new technologies which are aligned with our OEM plans and the industry where it's moving.
Okay, and on the LATL side, how do you see the demand? Like, what are the key products which the customers or OEMs are demanding from you?
So I think Lumax Technologies is a diversified provider of multiple products and technologies. I think one of the key areas of the business domains Lumax Auto Technologies operates in is mechatronics. A lot of electronics, sensors are something which we are into, and we see an accelerated growth for these products in line with the future technologies which are going to come in the passenger vehicle space, right? Apart from that, Lumax Auto Technologies is also growing in the whole interior plastics. And that's something where the premiumization trends, the whole ADAS integration with the interior cabin, all these technologies are something which is what Lumax Auto Technologies is currently having, and we are continuously developing on how do we integrate this as a system supplier for our OEM. So those would be the two largest buckets apart from the others. And of course, where there is an aftermarket which continues to flourish and get expanded in Lumax Auto Technologies as well.
And if we talk about technology side, because we just celebrated National Technology Day, I want to understand how are you incorporating technology on the shop floor or in the products? How are you seeing this technology trend evolving?
So let's say if I were to divide this in two buckets, right? There's a product technology and a process technology.
Yes.
I think from a product technology, Lumax has very successfully partnered with the global benchmarks and best-in-class providers of technology in the product spaces that we operate, right? We've got collaboration which is more than 40 years old, and then we've got recent joint ventures as well. The whole idea is to access these technologies, but then through our own engineering resources, and we've got engineering centers not just in India, but we also have one in Czech Republic, we have one in Taiwan. Very soon we're going to also be opening up a office in China to access new technologies. So the whole idea is how do we adapt these technologies to the Indian suited condition? But that's at a product level, and I think we're pretty confident that our engineering bench is strong enough to get there. On a process technology, I think more and more digitization, more and more automation, more and more use of things like AI is something which will make the process a lot more efficient, a lot more faster. And we've got the scale of volume today to invest in these technologies and not be as dependent on, let's say, human capital, and use that human capital wisely for other, more value add things.
So, if we talk about this expansion that you said, and how do you see the current geopolitical scenario? Actually, is it affecting the company's growth in terms of expansion, or it is just delaying it a bit, or you are more or less covered? How do you see it?
I think to say it in a very short manner, I would say we are cautiously optimistic. We have not seen any significant downward trend on demand yet. So we still remain bullish on demand. However, input costs are going up because of the whole geopolitical conflicts. We're talking about raw material prices, especially on plastics and polymers, which have gone up. Supply chain have gotten slightly disrupted. Also, let's say manpower, the manpower costs have gone up because of certain minimum wage hikes, manpower availability is a constraint. So we see a lot of pressure on the input costs, but from a demand pull, at least we don't see any immediate speed breakers ahead.
Okay, and on the industry side, I want to understand like how do you see it? Like, are there any OEMs or auto component companies which have discussed with you, or do you know anything that is what is currently the geopolitical scenario, how it is going to affect the auto industry, auto component industry in specific?
Well, like I said, I think the intrinsic demand and the buoyant outlook for auto industry in India and the auto component industry in India continues to be on a very positive note. Uh, the domestic consumption and as let's say infrastructure development continues to move forward,
Yeah.
auto industry perhaps will also continue to at least clock a reasonable growth. Yes, the geopolitical conflicts may slow this growth for momentarily, but the long-term prospects are still very much intact. So I don't see any major disruptions. How auto industry will continue to provide more and more value for the manufacturing sector, and again, manufacturing becoming a much more vital part of the overall economy.
And my last question to you is how do you see these FTAs shaping up the industry and the company as you have expansion plans in terms of exports also, and the company, like the industry is also betting big on exports. How do you see it with US, EU FTAs going on?
So I think FTAs provide a great opportunity to get scale and start looking at things from a global landscape and not just from a domestic eye. I think FTAs work both ways. There is still a lot of dependence on, let's say, imports,
Yeah.
which we have as a company, and then the industry as by and large is also dependent on certain imports. But if I look at the net import and export, right, I think with EU we still have a lot more imports coming in. With US, it's pretty much neutralized.
Yeah.
But I think these FTAs help us become more and more competitive, not just because there are a lot more challenges which come in, but again, as I said, the opportunities probably will outdo the challenges. So for now, the domestic focus continues, and with these FTAs, we hope that we can use India as a production base and service the entire world.
Hopefully, yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
time. Thank you.